All right, and welcome back to the Paisan Sports podcast, late night edition. I don't know why I did that voice. I regret
Is
it
this the latest that we've ever
immediately.
done? Yeah, you what?
Yes, definitely.
How many
It is.
episodes do we have to go back to get the Seinfeld impression? The last one.
It is. No, I've done it quite recently. I do
I
it
know
often.
because who's the player we can relate it to? Because you went into retirement, you did it for the first how many episodes? You went into retirement, then you came out for a brief stint out of retirement, and then you went back into the turtle shell. So
No, I kind of do it off and on. There's a few players that could fit that mold, however. But anyway, Paisan Sports Podcast, presented by Elevation 5280 Sports. Dante DePlacido, joined as always by Zach Deal of What's the Deal Sports. I've got to ask, and this is a positive What's the Deal segment. What's the deal with VJ Edgecombe? Is he edging? Is he combing? Is he doing both? Is he doing it all over the court? What's going on that he's dropping 34 in his NBA debut? And the
is
Sixers
this the
land to
quickest
beat
I
the
got to cut the
Celtics.
podcast off?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I'm unreal. I'm gonna have to edit this podcast, but on a serious note, we are the meatballs of the century. If we're gonna do the earliest meatballs of the, not even the week,
Well, I do have a meatball of the week planned, but yeah, we can do the meatball of the century for right
or the
now.
meatball of realistically the next 15 years.
Yeah, we both. I do want to find the clip of us both saying we want Ace Bailey over VJ Edgecombe and post that online
Yeah,
because
because
it was
usually
it
I'll
was a
explain.
bad take. It was a bad take.
I know usually because I'll explain both sides of it, and I'll be like, I want this player, but that doesn't also mean I don't want this player. But I actually think I said that I want Ace Bailey and that I don't specifically want VJ Edgecombe. So that's
I
pretty
I
good
definitely
take. So
said, "Oh, come on, VJ, another guard. We need a power forward." And by the way, speaking of that, not to get off track, come, but as you know, a big reason I wanted a power forward this whole time is because rebound was struggling. Where the hell did Barlow even come, man? He played great tonight. I saw so much effort out of him. He did a lot of rebounding, a lot of offensive rebounding. He is exactly the power forward that this team has needed for the past couple of years. And he just spawned in and did exactly what the Sixers need him to do. What a performance from him.
yeah, they just have like ridiculous amounts of depth like out of nowhere now. Doesn't it seem like that?
Yeah, well, I mean, look at the
But then
guard.
it was like I told you before the podcast that we were going to relate it to errors. So remember, like the era of like Ben Simmons, and they're trying to get the trio with Joel, and then like the third guy, and it just never works.
Yeah.
Like, didn't it feel like they relied on 5 or 6 guys, and they just like no one else was getting them anything?
Yeah, pretty much. Like
Like, how deep could you go in a roster?
during
Like,
that era, they really struggled with building a good bench. They had two good shooters off the bench their first year together with Bellinelli and Ilyasova, but after that, they really struggled with a good bench. The only guys off the bench I thought did well in that era were James Ennis and Alec Burks.
James
Um,
Ennis, oh my goodness,
yeah, that's
Alec
that's
Burks too.
what I'm
Yeah, but
saying. You
I
know
guess
what I mean?
you can add Quentin Grimes to that because Quentin Grimes really actually went off for a
Well,
while.
this is a new era of Sixers basketball, right?
I know. I'm just talking about different
And
eras of guys having a ceiling like
Quentin Grimes, like we are so fortunate to have him off the bench. We are so fortunate to have Kelly Oubre as your fourth option
yeah.
in terms of the starting lineup,
I think just
right?
both of
And
those
then
guys need
we
to like
haven't
get.
even gotten Jared McCain back yet.
I know,
The
but
one
I think
negative
both of
from
those guys
tonight.
need to like be. They're like rhythm guys, so I kind of worry about them adjusting to like more so of like not getting the ball all the time because there's so many mouths to feed now. It feels like it's almost like
Yeah,
overwhelming. It's like the Eagles' offense. They have like so many guys that can score. Where like they just won the game, and how many points did Joel have, bro? It was like
4.
4 points, 6 point,
4.
points.
He looked awful. But it's his first game back,
But
so I'm not gonna.
why are they running plays for him at like the 3 point line? Like I literally was watching him in the
I
fourth
don't
quarter
know.
running
Yeah,
drawing up plays for
they had him
3 point
shooting a
shots for
lot of
him.
threes. Um,
But on the plus side of shooting threes, I mean VJ making 5 threes or what was it, 5 or 6 threes that he hit of
I
his
know
36 games.
Maxi hit 7. Yeah, Maxi hit 7
Yeah, but why like
and
that
hit
doesn't
5.
impress me, bro. Dude, I told you from day one that Tyrese Maxey was that good. I told you. What did I say about Tyrese Maxey when we talked about him in the very beginning when he got drafted? I told you when you get the co-sign from LeBron.
We didn't know each other when Tyrese Maxey got drafted.
Dude, I told you when we first talked about the Sixers, I'm talking about. When we first talked about the Sixers, the first thing I told you is I knew Tyrese Maxey was the one because LeBron co-signed
I
him.
thought you were trying to say when the Sixers drafted Maxey,
No,
you told
that was
me.
like 2
Like,
years
no, that
before we started the
timeline doesn't
podcast.
match up. But okay, I
No,
get
it
what
was
you're
2 years
saying.
before the start of the podcast. We were
Yeah.
the first year of us doing the podcast talking about Sixers, if we want to go back to that, was like what, the heartbreaking James Harden era when we like were up the 2 games.
Yeah, that was the first Sixers postseason we covered. Yeah, that didn't end well. But let's not to get off topic though.
I know,
But
but also if we want to just like make that actually circle back and make sense, that was also that game 7 Joel underperformed. Doesn't it feel like Joel's just like so lopsided? Like he's either dropping 45 or he's dropping like 14 on like 4 of 21 shooting and getting some
I
free throws
mean,
mixed in.
like maybe current day Joel Embiid, that was never a thing with him. I remember the streak of games he had of scoring 30 plus. But yeah, maybe nowadays it's kind of the Joel Embiid. I just hope he can get back into the flow of things, get back into game shape, stay healthy, and get back to the dominant Joel Embiid we know and love.
Well, they're not going to ask him to do as much as like they're asking him to do before. Like, dude, VJ.
Yeah, not asking him to do as much, but I'm talking about like efficiency wise, right?
I know, but dude, he's not just an offensive player. Like, I feel like we're always talking about his offense. Why are we always talking about his offense? When he first came in the league, he was arguably the best two-way player in the league for what he did. How many blocks did he average when he was going on that run his rookie year? How many blocks he averaged? It was like 3
He
on
was
top.
blocking shots a lot more often his rookie year.
Dude, he was. You know how aggressive he was as a defender, and now he's just so
Yeah.
laid back and just lets the ball come to him. And I understand, like it's a veteran move of more so just like planting your feet and just playing defense that way and not jumping around and getting erratic fouls. But like, I don't know if it's the injuries, but he used to be such an aggressive and like athletic defender, and it just like doesn't seem like that's a part of his game anymore. And it kind of translates into his offense because he used to get rhythm as like he would be like LeBron, bro. He would block a shot on one end and then he's running the floor and hitting a 3 or, making an and one layup on a Euro step like that, or the Giannis, like the top players in the league making plays on both ends of the court. But it just doesn't seem like not only I know he's still the talented scorer and everything. I just don't think he's anywhere near the same defensive player he used to be. But I like with that being said, they're not going to ask him to do as much. They have a young superstar, the 3rd overall pick, who might be the best player in this draft class. I'm not freaking out over one night. I love Cooper Flag, but if VJ is going to be shooting threes like this and be this offensive player along with his defensive potential, I mean, this guy really is the limit.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about that, right? Going into the draft, my head was at was Cooper Flag is undoubtedly the best player in this draft. I wish we had somehow landed the number 1 overall pick. That would have been sick.
Yeah.
After we drafted VJ Edgecombe, and my other thought was Sixers should draft Ace Bailey. A little bit after we drafted VJ Edgecombe, I came around to thinking, you know what? I think VJ Edgecombe is going to work out better than Ace Bailey. He's not, the positional fit that we need, but I think
Why you say that real quickly, let me ask you one question, then keep going. Was VJ not even your second guy after Ace Bailey?
No, I would say he was second after Bailey. In terms of who else I would have wanted the Sixers to draft, I probably would put Edgecombe second. But yeah, and so then a little bit after the draft, after doing more research, after looking into Edgecombe more, I thought, okay, you know what? He's gonna, he's gonna be the better player here. We'll just figure out a way to make it all work, hopefully. And then, after the summer league, I'm starting to think, you know what, Edgecombe, man, he might be the steal of the draft, which is crazy to say at pick 3, but in terms of, him versus the 2 guys in front of him. After the preseason, I'm like, you know what? Fuck Cooper Flag. I think Edgecombe is going to have an even better rookie year than Flag. And after tonight, I'm saying, you know what? Edgecombe is going to be the best player in this draft class after this year. The rest, I mean, it's, in the NBA, after 1 year, the draft class might look a certain way, and then another 5 years, it looks a completely different way. So for right now, I'm just saying by the end of this season, Edgecombe's the best player in this NBA draft class.
You're making that declaration.
I'm making that declaration.
You
now.
remember
I'm
what
not
happened?
that declaration right
He
now.
just had the third most points by a rookie, the last rookie to score 30 points, and he's the only rookie actually to score 30 points in the 21st century.
Yeah,
in a debut.
Well, I looked it up. The record
In a debut specifically, I don't want to say only rookie to score 30. Only rookie to score 30 in his debut in the 21st century. So, but with all that being said, Dante, real quickly, we're not going to talk about the whole thing that happened, but you remember opening night, what was it, 2013, 14?
I was about to bring that up. Michael Carter Williams against.
And what's he doing now? He's a boxer.
He
hasn't been a Sixer for how long?
11 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that has nothing to do with it. I'm just talking about
Carter Williams. And Michael Carter Williams is no VJ Edge.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're talking about, I'm excited because I know this kid was like, even if the Sixers weren't drafting at 3, there was someone who was taking him in like the 3rd or 4th pick. So I know he was like a hot commodity. He was also kind of like a slept-on product because people were saying there was like tiers as in Cooper Flagg and then Dylan Harper's tier, and then the draft starts with all the rest of the guys kind of lumped some together. But like VJ was at the top of it with Ace Bailey. But I love Cooper Flagg. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to I love Cooper Flagg. I still think he is going to be an amazing player and everything. And this is VJ's first game, but if he's going to be shooting the basketball from like deep like this, along with the other traits that he already has and possesses, and this potential he possesses in other like sides of the floor, the one thing I will say about it is when Jared McCain comes back, I don't know how much he's going to actually directly have the ball in his hands. So he's going to have to adjust to not having the ball in his hands and playing off it. But he was catching shooting threes too. So, but he has so many good moves. Like, dude, he's so quick with his first step off the dribble when he's taking you to the basket. Like, he can get to the basket on anybody, and then he's dunking on anybody.
Yeah, no, he's incredible. To check in on Cooper Flagg.
Did you see his first play?
I didn't, but 3 minutes, 51 seconds to go in the second quarter. Cooper Flagg has played 13 minutes. He has 5 rebounds, no assists, and no points.
Dude, his first play. Let's
look at Ace Bailey.
The Cooper Flagg's first play of the thing, they tipped the ball off. He stole the ball. He threw it to Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis threw him a lob. He almost dunked it from like 13 feet in the air, but he fell down and then it rolled out. It was like almost the sickest. It was like the first 10 seconds of the game.
Okay, here's something very interesting. Hold on. There's 4 minutes and 33
Yeah, the Jazz are murking them. The Jazz are murking the Clippers.
The Jazz have 96 points with minutes to go in the third. This is why I don't love basketball as much as I used to. That's just
we didn't even bring it up, just because we haven't talked
Bailey has 2 of those points.
Now listen. Let me talk about this for a second.
2 of those points.
Let me talk about this for a second, then we get back to the Sixers, and then we got to move on to the Eagles. But we didn't talk about Ace Bailey's situation, how he actually fired his agent. But if you look at that box score specifically, because I didn't actually watch the Jazz Clippers game yet, but I looked at the box score. Ace Bailey's coming off the bench. He's not even starting.
Yeah, no, I saw that. Yeah.
And dude, it's the Jazz. So it's like, if you're not starting on the Jazz, what's going on over there? That's
starting over Ace Bailey is Kyle Filipowski. I don't even know who the hell that is.
That's the dude from Duke that had he was Meatball the week the one time. Didn't he have the controlling girlfriend? People weren't drafting him because he had the controlling girlfriend or something. They were worried about his girlfriend.
I don't know if I remember that, but
I don't know. I really like we don't really actually talk too much around the league basketball a lot, but I really pay attention to it. I really like basketball.
I follow around the league a lot more in baseball and football than I do basketball these days.
Yeah, basketball is good though, dude. The first game of the season last night did you see what happened? The Rockets, it was double overtime with the Thunder Rockets, the first opening night game of the season.
Double
overtime.
I did not see that.
Everyone always complains about basketball, but it's been really good actually the past 2 years. It's been really good basketball.
Well, before we move on to Eagles, we haven't even mentioned another obvious topic with the Philadelphia 76ers other than Edgecombe's amazing debut and Maxi's season debut, and also the debut of the Maxey Edgecombe backcourt duo, dropping
74 points.
Dropping 74 points. Amazing. But we haven't even mentioned the fact that they won the game. They beat the Celtics. So, like we've talked about.
We did mention that. I said.
But we haven't talked about the Sixers winning their opening night game on the road against the Boston Celtics.
Well, I thought that the betting number was really high because Jason Tatum's hurt, and they got rid of 3 of their 5 starters last year and not on the team anymore. Porzingis, Drew Holiday, and Jason Tatum are not on the team, but not playing for them on opening night because Jason Tatum is the other guy.
Jaylen Brown was questionable, and as of this morning, the Sixers were plus 2.5 underdogs, which I thought was a bit interesting.
Well, dude, I was saying to myself, Jaylen Brown's usually the most athletic dude on the court when he's playing, and it seemed like tonight was the first time when the Sixers matched up with the Celtics where Jaylen Brown wasn't the most athletic player on the court.
I mean, that's why when you start edging all over that court, you know what I'm saying?
Dude, you need to shave your head for that Nick Sirianni thing. But real quickly, let me roll.
Meatball the week. What?
Yeah, let me roll over a quick summary, real quick, NBA, and then we'll move on because we haven't chopped it up real quick. Tyrese Maxey, we really didn't talk. Like, dude, he just dropped seven threes and 40 points. Like, Tyrese Maxey really is that dude. We talked about him a little bit, but we really didn't. We really didn't show him love. Like, he really is that dude, and this is a lethal combo. Like, I'm very excited. Then we have Jared McCain coming back in the mix, and they're going to be all making TikTok videos together, and you're going to be.
And with how bad the defense performed, because the defense was definitely not a positive. Paul George coming back is going to help.
Dude, who was that dude on the Celtics? Cotty that kept getting behind the defense, bro. He scored like 10 points in the fourth quarter. He was going off. But also, Dominic Barlow was ridiculous tonight. He was very, very good in his role, and he played exactly perfect.
The other guy, what was his name?
And I saw Kyle Lowry wasn't a factor actually in the game, but he was really coaching up Tyrese Maxey on the sidelines and getting them going. I feel like they just have a perfect mixture of a bunch of different things. Like, Kyle Lowry's not going to be actually play, bro. He's just pretty much getting like a player coach, pretty much an extension of the bench. So, and I'll take that. Like, I don't really care. There's 15
and then he's
spots.
there if there's an injury and you.
That's what I'm saying. And he can go eat, like, if they get into a spot in the playoffs where when they make it and they need someone to eat like a couple fouls to be physical with a point guard in the beginning of the game, just throw Kyle Lowry in.
Yeah,
that's the perfect role for him. So, and just Kelly Oubre, they just have a really good mixture, guys. Justin Edwards, I don't even think played.
We still have Eric Gordon too.
Yeah, Justin Edwards, I don't even think played or checked into the game. Dean Bona was out there.
Drummond played 3 minutes. I feel like this team has a lot of old veterans that we're just going to keep forgetting are on the team.
Well, they're just going to probably dump them off the trade deadline and then just keep flushing this roster with new youth guys. And like, I think do you think, last thing we'll talk about Sixers, move on. Do you think they'll open up a roster spot for Quentin Grimes to become a part of the future? As in, like, getting rid of guys like maybe Kelly Oubre and Andre Drummond to make a spot for Quentin Grimes to be retained in the long term?
They do, but hopefully it's not the avenue of getting rid of Kelly Oubre. I know.
I really like Kelly Oubre as a player. I think he's a perfect role player.
He played really well. He hit some timely shots.
And dude, I love how in the playoffs the last couple.
Talk about not only did we beat this, they beat the Celtics. They came back down 12 points in the fourth quarter.
Well, dude, I love that in the playoffs.
3 to help assist that comeback.
In the playoffs, he's been taking on the assignment of being the on-ball defender of like the best, like the ball handler of the other team.
Yeah,
like
Kelly Oubre is very underrated, very underappreciated, and more than just a good-looking face. But now it is time for my meatball of the week.
Pause.
And my meatball of the week, actually, I have a meatball of the week, and I have the opposite of a meatball of the week. I haven't figured out what to call it yet. I'm thinking maybe vodka cutlet of the week. I don't know. But my meatball of the week is
you have a side appetizer for the meatball of the week?
But no, it's like a positive.
No, I got you. We got the garlic naan of the week.
No, I don't like it. Meatball of the week is TJ Hawkinson, because not only did TJ Hawkinson drop what would have been a huge touchdown grab for the Minnesota Vikings that could help them come back to beat the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday, he went on to complain and bitch and moan and complain like he was robbed of a touchdown. And he even went as far as wait, no, because he even went as far as to say, I don't understand how New York can call in and change the call. My brother in Christ, that is how it works. All scoring plays are reviewed, and they are reviewed by guess who? New York. That's how it works.
All right, well, listen, dude, you got to give him some respect. It was a great effort.
It was a
He
great
didn't
effort,
drop.
sure, but you didn't catch the ball. Stop complaining.
Yeah, no, but dude, that was the only thing I was going to correct you on. The only thing I was going to say is you said he dropped it, bro. He full extension almost caught it. He just didn't catch it. He didn't drop it. He didn't catch it.
I get what you're saying, but yeah, no. I get.
Yeah, but
I get
bitching
what
and
you
moaning
mean, the
about
way
like
I
literally
phrased it
the
kinda
official
sounded like-
review system, bitching and moaning about the official review system is ridiculous. But how many MLB players do you think are going to do that when they add the automated system into baseball?
That's a good point.
And you're going to be doing it. You're going to be doing it from your couch.
The way I phrased it sounded like he was open. He dropped what could have been the game-winning catch. No, he made an unbelievable effort. Almost had it. Not quite enough. But he just nonstop bitched about it for like 3 days and then made just an absurd statement.
I know. I mean,
now, my vodka cutlet of the week. Okay, because I don't know. It's like what's if a meatball is somebody who's an idiot, what's somebody who did something great? A vodka cutlet, I guess. I don't know.
Dude, what's meatball? I mean, dude, because like meatball's like known as a derogatory.
Maybe a 2012 Chianti of the week.
Let's talk about this for a second.
Know.
Let's talk about this for a second because meatballs are good, but we're not like insulting them. It's just known as like an Italian derogatory word. So like we don't really. What's the other?
Okay. So wait. So you're on to something now. You see, a meatball is just a ball of meat. There's nothing to it. There's nothing sophisticated to it. There's nothing fancy, nothing revolutionary to it. It's just a ball of meat, right? So what is a well-prepared, well-thought-out Italian dish? I'm going to say Trinite al pesto. Okay, who is the Trinite al pesto of the week? And my Trinite
al Buscala. Pronounce that for me. Say that word for me. Buscala.
Shrimp fra diavolo. Who is the shrimp fra diavolo of the week? Either one.
Should we do the 7 fishes? So we go through each one and give 7 different ones.
My shrimp fra diavolo of the week.
The Yankee of the week.
Brandon Graham. Because Brandon Graham committed probably the most unselfish act I've ever seen from an NFL player. This is a man who got to go out on top. He got to retire after winning the Super Bowl. Not only did he win the Super Bowl, he came out of injury just for the Super Bowl, won the game, and then went into retirement.
Listen. Bro, you didn't mention he tore his triceps again.
Yeah, and he tore his triceps again, right? And what happened? He saw Zadarius Smith decide to just up and quit on the Eagles.
Dude, why did that happen? We haven't even talked about that. Why did that happen?
Did that happen after the last podcast?
Yeah, it's been like a couple days through. It's been like
okay. Then you know what? He's the other meatball of the week. All right, but Brandon Graham, he saw Zadarius Smith decide to just up and quit, and he said, "You know what? I'm going to help out my team. I'm going to come out of retirement," and that's what he did. So he's my shrimp fra diavolo of the week. All right. I was
wondering where you were going with this because I thought you were trying to make a synonym for meatball, as in like a good dish, but it was like somebody we're gonna like insult in a way.
No,
but now,
just a great, hats off to him. You know.
All right, well, dude, a chicken Italiana. That's what I've been getting from Primo's recently, honestly. But I take the black pepper and oregano.
It's got to be a sophisticated dish. But the problem is, Italian food.
The broccoli rabe on there, bro. You don't even know about the broccoli rabe, bro.
Most Italian food started out as like poverty food, like
most Italian food.
Probably not. I don't know if Fradiella started off as a poverty food.
But well, unfortunately for us Americans also being Italian and Americans, that the Americanized Italian food isn't the real Italian food because
like chicken,
completely different ingredients. And the ingredients are separately. So I could actually eat a bunch of that food as opposed to like, I mean, my mom's really Italian, so she makes it a certain way. But like if I go out to try and go to like a restaurant, it's usually, that like you can't even eat a dish of pasta without just having bubble guts because of how crazy it is. But in like Italy, it's actually not like that. It's actually a lot more cleaner on the stomach. for
Well, yeah, and
ingredients
it's
that they use.
all fresh food.
And the pizza's entirely different though. But like
Well, yeah, it's Neapolitan style.
my style of liking pizza, like you're not like getting buffalo chicken slices and cheesesteak, but like that I like you. Let's talk about this for a second. Food, because we're Italians, we like
We're
food.
on a limited time
All right, hold on 1 second. I
podcast
just want
right
to answer this.
now.
Are you
Really
a
took a
topping,
full sidetracked.
dude? Are you a toppings guy with pizza or not? Because people been telling me recently
If
that
I do toppings, I'm keeping it simple: pepperoni, maybe
sausage.
sausage, but not all together. I'm either
That's
gonna
what we
do
can do.
pesto.
That will be if we have two meatballs of the week. It'll be the sausage of the week, the Italian sausage, the Vienna sausage of the week.
All right. Well, maybe that could be a good segment for the R-rated Paisan Sports podcast, sausage of the week.
I
But
mean, listen to what
let's
you were
get
saying
back to
about
the
VJ.
Eagles.
You were saying what were you saying about VJ earlier?
Oh well, VJ had me edging. But
Jesus.
yeah,
But talking about the
let's
edge,
get to
no,
the
let
Eagles.
me hit you with the transition. Talking about the edge and Brandon Graham. So
Oh,
what are we gonna actually get out of Brandon Graham? Like 16 snaps, 15 snaps?
this week probably 5.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna have to
Throughout
be
the
a ramp up.
remainder of the games, I would guess like 25% of the
Now, do
snaps.
you think it'll be 5 though versus the Giants? I feel like if you're gonna do a ramp up quickly versus any team, it would be like a team versus the Giants.
Yeah, maybe it'll be more. But one big key change the Eagles made that I've been talking about all off season is they, especially now with Zadarius Smith retiring, with Nolan Smith out, with Nakobe Dean returning from injury, they played a lot of snaps with Nakobe Dean at linebacker and Jihad Campbell at edge. And in my opinion, it made a huge difference because not only did Nakobe Dean look phenomenal back at linebacker, he looked really good, especially against the run. And Jihad Campbell looked good as an edge rusher. And I think that really
Well, I
helped
just
them.
think it opens up their defense to be able to run so many different coverages because they have so many good coverage linebackers. Jalex Hunt used to be a safety for when he first came into college. You saw he got the pick 6. Jalex Hunt can drop into coverage too, and they got Jihad Campbell being able to drop from a different position on the line of scrimmage and then dropping backwards and confusing the offense and the offensive coordinator. I felt like the versatility that their linebackers had on Sunday. But one thing I will say is, I don't like to be critical too much or go over the top, but doesn't it feel like Zach Bone's kind of in like a little bit of a funk right now?
I wouldn't say funk. I
I don't
think
know.
that
It
would
wasn't
be
really this
he
game. I felt like
doesn't like
the
I'll
Giants
say he
game.
doesn't look as dominant as he
Yeah,
did last
The
week.
Giants
But
game was a little bit rough though. Honestly, it was like the first time he actually stuck out a little bit like a sore thumb. But as we're breezing over Eagles stuff, we talked about the linebackers a little bit. The edge has some reinforcements, and I feel like Nolan Smith's still in the IR. So when they get him back, they'll actually have a lot of versatility if Jihad Campbell's consistently playing on the edge and Kobe Dean's back healthy. But Jeremiah
look,
Trotter also got banged up in the last game, so the linebacker depth needs.
Jeremiah Trotter played last game. I didn't
He
even.
plays special teams.
Oh, you mean on special teams? I was gonna say I
Oh
didn't.
yeah, he's getting hurt. I mean, Will Shipley's your guy's been getting hurt a little bit too, but running backs we're
How
talking
about
about.
Tank Bigsby? Speaking of that, who had a 10-yard run, I did not see that coming.
I mean, he's a talented player. Just he sucks as a special teams player. I don't know what's
I
going
know,
on
but
with
I
him.
just did like they haven't actually used him at running back, so I just
Dude, why do the Eagles exclusively use running backs as the returners? Like I know they're the best with the balls in their hands, but pause. But at the end of the day, I feel like the dudes that can actually catch these types of crazy kicks are the receivers. Why are they not putting the receiver? Why is Jahan Dotson not back there returning kicks?
That's a very good point. That is a good point. But let's, you know what? But what I do really want to talk about because we are in limited time, and the elephant in the room regarding the Philadelphia Eagles game is Jalen Hurts. Perfect passer rating, 300 plus yards, 3 TDs. That was, in my opinion, that was one of those statement games from Jalen Hurts where it's like week after week, oh, Jalen Hurts can't throw the ball. Jalen Hurts can't throw the ball. And then he throws the ball. And it's like, oh, wow, he actually can. And then everybody, like after a few weeks, goes back to thinking he can't throw the ball in the
All right,
cycle.
well, I let you give your shout out to your boy, and obviously you know how I feel about Jalen. Salute to him. He just went off. He's throwing the ball down the field. But let's talk about one of the guys he's throwing to.
Devontae Smith.
Let's make a comparison. Who's more underrated in their sport, Tyrese Maxey or Devontae Smith?
That's a great question, and I'm gonna have to go Tyrese Maxey.
Are you sure, bro?
And that's no shade at all to Devontae.
You know that stat line
so
Devontae Smith just put up was the most receiving yards of any receiver in the entire NFL this season in one game.
I do know that. And listen, like I just said, Devontae Smith is really good. I think something that's just so underrated as part of his game.
But I don't want to be unfair to Tyrese Maxey right now. And say, like he's not impact winning because basketball's so hard to impact winning because it's just like such a team sport, like what you have to do as a functioning team. Even LeBron, obviously, you saw had struggles before just trying to do it by himself. But Devontae Smith like really impacts winning on top of what he does. He's the leading playoff receiver in Eagles history.
Yeah, no, listen.
Devontae had the dagger last year.
Anything dude, he goes off. About Devontae Smith, I'll agree with. I just think with how good of a basketball player Tyrese Maxey is, and we saw it tonight, and how.
Oh, wait, Dante, can you check your phone real quick? Can you look at the fantasy football league and actually give me some credit? Because all you've ever done is talk shit on my fantasy football team, and now it's time to bring the cannons in.
Which league?
Oh no, we're not talking about the one league. We're talking about the league we're in, the Elevation 5280 Sports.
Oh yeah, you're going good in that league. Yeah, you're not.
No, look at my stat line last week.
You are 0-7 in the other league.
Look at my stat. Yeah, I had the most outrageous injury. I have Jaden Daniels and Mario Hampton.
I won by 2 points in the Elevation League. I didn't even know this.
Dude, I dropped like 170. I had Joe Flacco. I started Joe Flacco, my boy, too.
I did see you did that. Yeah, I did notice that.
No, dude, I had Devontae in my flex, and I had Travis Hunter and Devontae starting, and they both went off. Look at that.
I need to see. I want to look at the box score from last week. I won thanks to AJ Brown finally going off again. It was.
Do you think that's how do you feel about this Eagles team? Does this team feels a lot more like the 2022 team than it does the last year's team, doesn't it?
Wait,
dude, they're not running the bro. Saquon's averaging like 3.5 yards a carry, bro. They're not running the ball. The offensive line's not that good. The defensive line's not that good either. That's probably the difference of 2022, and that's kind of the struggles they had back then too. Reliability on those guys, like consistently. But like, dude, they're just like really just AJ, Devontae, and Jalen are just going off, and it's just and they have like secondary helping them out a little bit on defense, and the linebackers, and that's really how they're getting it done.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the funny thing is when have we ever been in an era of Eagles football where the defense is led by great linebacker play? When has that ever been?
Dude, our D line, this is like the worst D line we've had in like a really long time, too. Or Ojomo had that big
sack. What? It looked a lot better. With
Ojomo had that huge sack in like 3 minutes left in the game last week or something. That was huge. And he just blew the pocket up. Just literally the pocket.
Ojomo looks great.
But dude, do you think what do you think's up with Jalen Carter? Do you think it's actually like now that they don't have? Do you think it's like they obviously miss Josh Sweat and Milton Williams, and those guys are playing well for their teams right now? But do you think it's more so not having those guys and he's not as fresh because he's asking to do more? Do you think it's just like he's just in a slump for some reason right now because he's really not even close to the player that he was showing before? And we're pretty deep into the season, right? It's not like, dude, we're almost like halfway through the season, and he just hasn't gotten going at all.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't even know what it is. I don't really have an answer for that. Usually I have some sort of comment, but
with that being said, with how he's slumping, would you have been more hype? Who would you have been more hype about? Brandon Graham coming out of retirement or a couple years out of retirement? Fletcher Cox says he's coming back.
Brandon Graham, that's not even close.
Why is that?
For multiple reasons. One, we saw Brandon Graham play really well as recently as the last season.
At no point in when they both played was Brandon Graham ever better than Fletcher Cox, and that would be the case if he came out of retirement as well.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, as recently as last season, we saw Brandon Graham play great, especially in that game he got hurt in against the Rams. You know what I mean? So it's like, did we see greatness out of Fletcher Cox in his final season, and that was longer ago. I don't know. So
But we're
right
talking
now,
about
in
a
terms
dude
of
like
who
we're
I
talking.
think is going to perform better on the field right now, I think Brandon Graham. But even more importantly, but I don't know about more importantly, but also on top of that, who is the better locker room guy that's going to fire this team up?
Well, I was going to say, yeah,
Brandon
Brandon
Graham.
Graham's personality definitely is a big part, but it's Fletcher Cox too. We're talking about a franchise legend as opposed to like a borderline Hall of Famer of the NFL of all time.
Yeah, but we're talking about taking them today. So
I
who
know
would
that's
like
why it's a
them
tough thing. I
today?
just wanted to,
Brandon
yeah.
Graham. Brandon Graham for sure.
Do you think Smitty's like Brian Westbrook level underrated? Brian Westbrook was,
I think he's a little well, I think he's a little more underrated than Westbrook. Like
dude.
me, he's
Smitty has
better.
yet to make a dude. He's yet to make a Pro Bowl, but he's the leading receiver on the Eagles this year. But dude, AJ had a good game too, and
He had a great game.
dude,
He had
four
some big
target, dude.
plays,
They really
man. He
went.
had
They
3 big plays.
gigantic plays. Fourth down too. They're so aggressive on fourth down. It's either a tush push or it's like a 40-yard bomb every time. There's no
Well,
in
and you know
between.
what? That's what happens when a lot of times you fight your way to pick up that fourth down. You
Well,
know, it's
dude,
just
I'm not trying to act like
he
I'm.
doesn't expect you to just bomb it on
I
fourth
know,
down.
but I'm not trying
You
to.
know,
There
right
are
at
some.
TJ Brown, it works.
They're not like moving the chains by running the ball anymore. They just don't have that as a element to the offense right now. Like, dude, Saquon's in like a severe slump, so they really have to rely on the passing. But they're like really getting it done. But also at the other end, they were kind of getting it done this week and mixing it in more. But I heard a lot more of the national media talking about what we talked about before, as like they had like no like over in the middle passing game. It's like there's no like intermediate, like it's all like stuff kind of a little bit further than the line of scrimmage, like slants and stuff like that, and not really stuff off the line of scrimmage, just like 5-7 yards down the field and then get the ball in their hands. There's nothing really 15 to 20 yards down the field. It's like a bomb or a 5 to 7 yard route.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like, obviously, there's still issues with the play calling. But we've been slowly seeing some improvements. You know, like this past week, we saw play action from under center.
Yeah.
We didn't see that all season. Like, you know what I mean? Like the comeback win against the Rams, we finally saw them throwing the ball downfield.
Yeah.
Like that should show you like how we started, like in terms of like what we're getting out of the play calling. That should tell you how we started with absolutely nothing, and we've slowly added simple stuff into the offense, like throwing the ball downfield,
Dude, my
play
favorite play
action
of the
under
season.
center.
Every
To
time
get
we
to the point
compliment
we're at now.
his play calling, my favorite play of the season was the Dallas Goedert little flip out on the goal line for the touchdown.
They've done that twice now. They've done that two or three
Dude, it's a
times.
fire play. That's the Andy Reid to Travis. How many touchdowns do you think Travis Kelce has scored like that for the Chiefs in his career? Like
A
20,
lot.
25?
Well, and Aaron Rodgers used to do a lot in Green Bay too.
Dude, it's just catching the defense off guard. And dude, Jalen's at this point where he's had so many different offensive coordinators. He knows so many different things about defenses from all the different looks he's been given, and with all the knowledge of different stuff he's taken from different coordinators to the point where he can see these things, and you just got to let him rip it.
You know
So, and
what? You
there's
bringing that
no
up.
issues like what are they not running play action under center because they think Jalen has issues with pushing the ball down the field because of the lack of arm strength? Like, dude, he's ripping the ball down the field. He's like arguably the best deep ball throw in the entire NFL.
He is. And the other one final thing I want to mention, and I just want to mention something off of what you said, and then I mean we're out of time. But the thing with Jalen Hurts is like I saw somebody on TikTok talk about, oh, he threw the ball really well on Sunday, and before that he wasn't throwing the ball well this season. And it's like you could say the offense was struggling this season, but Jalen Hurts has really only had 2 bad throws all season, the interception and the overthrow, which the overthrow might not have even been his fault. Like to act like Jalen Hurts is not an accurate passer, it's just insanity to me. And I feel like that's what people say, like, oh, he can't throw. Like you're not actually watching the game. You're just looking at the box score. Because if you actually watch any Eagles game, like you'll rarely see Jalen Hurts just have an inaccurate throw.
Bro, you know he has 11. Bro, you know he has 11 touchdowns passing and 1 interception.
Yeah. Yeah, but also to go off of what you were talking about with the shovel pass to Dallas Goedert, you did have me curious. I decided to look it up. Dallas Goedert currently has 5 receiving touchdowns on the season. That matches his
Dude, I
career
was going to
high
say
from
that in the very
2019.
beginning of the podcast. I was going to say, dude, we never give him enough love because I said AJ, Jalen, and Devontae are going off, but really Dallas is in that combo too. And we act like it wouldn't have been a big deal. Dude, you need to owe him an apology because you kept trying to act like Grant Calcaterra is the next guy. He could easily fill
I
in.
never
And I'm
said
not
he's the
worried about.
next guy. I just wasn't with how Goddard was performing last year. Calcaterra was putting up the same performances. What
Dude,
Calcaterra did.
how many times do I have to
Other
tell you
than
Dallas?
blocking. Other than blocking.
How many times did I have to tell you Dallas Goedert was the 4th leading receiver in the entire playoffs last year? And you were just bugging.
All right. But anyhow,
Real quickly, though, a couple of interesting things before we get out of here about the Eagles. Jalen Hurts, not only Saquon's averaging 3.3 yards per carry and has less than 400 yards, Jalen Hurts is also averaging 3.4 yards per carry as a rusher as well. So it's
yeah, he
not
hasn't
only,
been doing it with his legs as much
dude,
as
the
he
running
used
is
to,
literally,
though.
bro, two things that are the 3 biggest things of the history of Eagles football is built on. Would you say 3 elements of football is 3 categories that you would build it on? I'm not going to trick question you. If you don't get it, I'm answering it right
Wait,
away.
I don't understand the question.
Name 3 things about Eagles football that has always been true. Like three of the most important things in any
Um,
vicinity, and I'll tell you if you're right. Like, or I'll just tell you what I'm talking about.
I'm still a little confused by the question, so I'll just answer what I
Elements of
think
their
you're
game, like
asking.
elements that every Eagles team has.
Okay. Unlike this year, number one, a great pass rush. That's always a
Correct.
big thing.
One of them, correct.
Um, a mobile quarterback.
Nah, that's a little too specific. Rushing attack, just in general.
And a franchise tight end.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say a running
Or
attack.
hard hitting safety.
Two of the things I was gonna say is a running attack and a pass rush. That's 2 of the biggest identity things that like almost every good Eagles football team ever has had, and they really don't have this year, and they still are one of the best teams in the league, and they can get
Yeah, and
revenge on the Giants.
also what have Eagles teams famously never had? A good wide receiver. What else? I wouldn't say not having a good corner, because there have been some
Nah,
great.
you're tripping. We had good wide receivers. We just didn't have them as like long. Like, dude, AJ and Devontae have been cooking for like years now. It's on like year 4
No,
of
but
them
this is
together.
what I mean. Like they never, bro. Our franchise leading wide receiver is Harold Carmichael with
Dude,
like
that's
84
but bro, that's
receivers.
what I'm saying, bro. You're telling me Jeremy Maclin and Deshaun Jackson were on fire? They
No,
just were
but that's
fire
what
for
I
like
mean.
3 years.
That's what I'm saying. Like we rarely have like elite talent at wide receiver over an extended period of
Well,
time.
that's why I just said this is year 4 now. So they actually have
Yeah.
been together for quite some time. And what have we done? Went
And
to
it's
2
not
Super Bowls.
likely. It doesn't often happen. Like, yeah, Macklin and Deshaun Jackson is like the only other example in franchise
Dude,
history.
people are tripping about like
Before
AJ.
Macklin
Like,
and Jackson, we had histories of receivers like Todd Pinkston
and
and
James
Freddie
Thrash.
Mitchell and James Thrash, and 4 years of Chris Carter before he went to Minnesota and became an elite player.
Chad
But
Lewis was a top
Chad
receiver on our team.
Lewis. The only great wide receiver we ever had before Deshaun Jackson was Timmy McDonald. God damn it,
Dude, it felt like we just like, dude, we went too blue collar at times. Like, bro, remember we were running Leonard Weaver at running back as a fullback? Like, we were going too blue collar Philadelphia. That's
I
why we
don't.
weren't
But
winning.
I do know it is late and it is
Oh yeah,
time for me to
okay.
go to bed.
But yeah, before we get out of here, just Jalen Hurts is really balling right now. Like
He is.
he's in the
He's
MVP.
doing his thing. He's doing
He's in
his
the
thing.
MVP. He's in the MVP race. So, and Isaiah Rodgers was balling until he saw his former teammates and realized even.
Oh, I did want to bring that up this week, but I wanted to do. I wanted to talk about that for a bit, but we're
All right,
gonna.
what do you think versus the Giants? They get revenge in a big
Oh,
way,
absolutely.
like a significant way.
I mean, they're definitely going to get revenge. I'd be shocked if they lose to the Giants.
What's one thing that would concern you going into the game?
Not going wood. Was one thing that would concern me. I mean, corner 2 is always going to be a concern with me with this Eagles
I
team.
know that I could feel good about Nakobe being back to deal with Cam Scadaboo because I was kind of sleeping on Scadaboo, and he really is that dude. Honestly, he's a beast.
Scally was good, but you know what? But that's the thing. I like Nakobe. I like Ball, and I like Campbell. We're gonna see how we handle
Makuba's
Scally.
got to keep making plays too. He feels like he's been making some spark plays here and there, but like if he starts to consistently make them, that brings his defense to a whole nother level.
If
Because,
only we could face Carson Wentz every week.
dude, but yeah, well, I was gonna say if this defense isn't going to get sacks, they need to get turnovers, and they've actually been doing that this year. So that's interesting because that hasn't been an element to their team in quite some time since like Malcolm Jenkins was playing safety for them, and they usually get turnovers like that. So
Yeah.
all right, well. Thank you guys for tuning into episode 119 of the Paisan Sports Podcast. I mean, we got good stuff going on in Philadelphia sports. The Phillies crushed our hearts once again. We didn't even mention them one time for talking about them for the last 8 months passionately for 30 minutes every podcast. But VJ Edgecombe, not only 34 points, third most by a rookie in his debut, and the only rookie in the 21st century to drop 30 points in his debut. But did you also know he broke LeBron's first quarter record, rookie debut record for most points scored in the first quarter?
I did see that. Yeah. Yeah. LeBron dropped 12.
14 for VJ.
Yeah, and Edgecombe dropped 14. Yeah, man. I mean, you just gotta keep on edging, you know.
Yeah, I'm literally gonna censor you every time you say that. So, and I'm gonna shave your head because you didn't do the Nick Sirianni bet, and you're just a fraud. So, I forget what we were talking about before the bet we were trying to make, but you can't even make it double down bets now because you still got to shave your head. So, but thank you guys for tuning in to episode 119 of the Paisan Sports Podcast, and we will be back on Sunday in a couple days to update you on VJ Edgecombe when he drops 60 points when the Sixers play next. So, see you guys. Peace.